got to 18-2, that's not an unreasonable thing. The only thing it does, Super Bowl Sunday ends up on a President's Day weekend, which is a 3-day weekend, which makes Sunday night, and then you have Monday off. Now, that part of it is genius. You know what the worst part about Super Bowl Sunday is? The reality that not only do you have to go to your job, whether you like it or not, but football season's over with. So he's kind of correct on that. Like, you have that day to kind of, sleep off that hangover a little bit. Realize that at that point, there is no more football. That a lot of football fans go into a deep depression because they realize the next day there is no football. At least you have that day to cushion the blow. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television here on a happy
Hump Day
edition of the Sports Web. We call it the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Why do we call it that? Is it a TV show? Is it a radio show? It's both. But how do we start it off? You know them, you love them, you got to have them. So let's get to it. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. Of course, we'll have professional handicapper extraordinaire of this show as his Chicago White Sox are winning right now 4-1. Mr. Harry the Greek. We should have Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy in the building as always. And then Turnbuckle Talk, where we talk about what else? WWE, AEW, professional wrestling action with former XPW announcer Mr. Mark Mancini. And as always, we take phone calls on this show as we update the score right now. As I told you, the Rays are losing to the Chicago White Sox. Aesop Paredes, a double there in the fourth inning to score Yandy Diaz, and that is about it. The Rays had two guys on with one out. Josh Lowe up at the plate. He flies out, and Paredes is doubled off. So there you go. That's the story for the Rays tonight. 5 in a row. Can they come back? 5-0 with the City Connect jerseys. It's looking good, but not necessarily tonight. It's also not always the best news when it comes to the pitching front, when it comes to injuries, as Ryan Pepio is going to the IL. Taj Bradley will get the start on Friday versus the Yankees. The good news for that is that I will be in the building. Thanks a lot to Alex Nunster of True Rays fan page. Thank you very much, my friend. And guess what? I think I'm going to take my mother for Mother's Day and for her birthday. So once again, Alex, thanks a lot for the free tickets. And what we're going to talk about tonight, of course, we're going to update the score on this Rays game. Hopefully they can come back. We'll also talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, some comments, of course, from some national media pundits about where the Bucs, they think they drafted, how good they drafted. We'll get into that just a little bit. Programming note, we plan to go live on Thursday night thinking that the schedule was going to be released. And the NFL said,
How about no?
No, the schedule will not be released until next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So no need to go live tomorrow night unless there is some breaking news. So no live show tomorrow night, but we will have you on Wednesday night as always. I don't think we're going to start off at 8 o'clock. We'll let the schedule be revealed, and then we'll talk about it probably 8:30, 9 o'clock here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. So once again, programming notes, no Sports Web this Thursday because we thought the program or the schedule was going to be released. No, it's not going to be. So there you go. All right, let's go out to the comments here. Once again, open phone lines if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Rays, if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, anything that's on your mind. 727-255-00 0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Roger Shue, the tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
First, as usual, acknowledge me. Absolutely, Recon Scout. Mustard only. Okay, so we're going to start out with the hot dog talk. And I will be at Tropicana on Friday, so I'll be sure just for you to take a picture with a hot dog with ketchup and mustard. How about that, huh?
This guy sucks.
Sees you want to mess with me tonight. Boo, Roger. Thank you, KR. And, of course, Christopher Cole. Let's go, Bucs, Lightning, and Cubs.
Let's go!
I don't know if we can get away with that with this next host here, the professional handicapper extraordinaire. He should definitely pat himself on the back when it comes to the Kentucky Derby. I got to edit that up. He gave you the picks if you tuned in. Here's the guy. Here we go. Handicapper extraordinaire of the sports web, Mr. Harry the Greek.
Opa!
Oh, welcome, my friend. You're pumped up tonight. Good news for you. Your Chicago White Sox, who have been dreadful for the majority part of the year, besides against the Rays, as they're beating them right now 4-1.
Yeah, I'm watching. It looks like Tampa is going to be 2-4 against the White Sox this year. Pitiful. Pitiful.
Unfreaking believable. And Yandy Diaz, a swing and a miss. And good night. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. With that being said, let's go out to our comments. Starlene, thank you very much. Hey to you.
Hey.
And let's go out to Roger. No comment on me. I've got to definitely do that just for you, Roger Shue. Let's get out to this guy. Look at his camera shot right now. He's showing his forehead. He's ready to go. He's the legend. From a Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports, Leo Haggerty. Here we go.
Book him, Dano.
There we go. Leo Haggerty, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Hanging in there. Got a little bit of a throat issue the last couple days, so I'll try to make it to 9:30. So if not, I'll call the left-hander in. Right, Harry?
Well, that's it. I don't know what Harry's doing. Where did Harry go at this point? I guess he is gone. So I don't know what's going on. Harry is not with us. I don't know if it is.
Oh, here he comes.
Hang on. Hey, guys.
Let me guess. You had a little kitty walk across your screen again.
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit. Uh-oh. We're having problems with that now the last couple of nights. So where should we start here, gentlemen? Do we start with the Tampa Bay Rays? I mean,
hell no,
Bucs.
Peter. We talk about the Kentucky Derby. Harry, let it rip, man.
Yes,
talk about the Derby.
Let it rip again here in case nobody caught that. He was on 806 Sports, which is out of Amarillo.
CBS. That's CBS Sports Radio out of Amarillo, Texas.
Is it now? Wow.
Yes, it is.
Okay, Kenny moving up in the world. So go ahead and talk about that because we're gonna pat you on the back again here.
Well, they interviewed me on Monday. They had me as a guest on 806 Sports Radio. I've made a couple of appearances on there. We talked last year for the Kentucky Derby as well, and I also gave them the horse that would hit the board. But this time, it was a little bit more special. I told him that the horses you didn't want to see on the front, the favorite was the 17. I says if he sees the front, it changes the whole dynamic of it, but there was no way he was going to get to the early lead. So therefore, that would just, he'd finish where he did, 15th. And I gave everybody, I said, the 2 horse, who's going to be like one of the favorites in the race, he was going to be literally impossible to miss out of the exacta, which, ladies and gentlemen, means first or second. And I said, but if you're looking for a long shot, I gave him the 3 at 18-1. And it ran in order 3-2.
3-2. There you go.
Ran 3-2.
3-2.
And if you played that exact, it paid $150. The trifectas paid a mere $1,000, and the supers paid $10,000.
Well, that's okay. Go ahead,
Harry. That was arguably the greatest finish of not just the Kentucky Derby, but any Triple Crown race. Would you agree with that?
It's one of the best ones that I've seen. I have to be honest with you. About 5 years ago, there was an inquiry in one of the races, and
with the bumping of the jockey. Yeah, I remember that.
And the 20 horse was Flavian Pratt. I'm sorry. Long story short, everybody was hollering and hooting and carrying on because they said it had the superfecta and they knew it was going to cash for $80,000 to $100,000. And I'm sitting there looking at it and I see in the objection light flashing. And I'm like, let me watch this replay.
Right.
And I kept watching it. And everybody's like, it's the Kentucky Derby. They're not going to take him down. And I'm going, oh, yeah, but this is my luck. They took him down and put the 20 up. And I missed the superfecta. All I had was exactas. We still cashed for like 10 dimes, worth the exactas. And the guy sitting next to me goes, hey, man, you still cash for 10 dimes. Good job. Hey, can I get $100? I was like, do you know what I just lost? You friggin' moron. Are you serious? I literally wanted to throw him off the third tier from Tampa Bay Downs. I'm not kidding you.
Harry, I gotta agree with you on fierceness. Starting in the 17th spot on a track that was not the best because they had rain that morning. And if he couldn't get to the lead and get to the rail, he was going to be running a race probably about at least a furlong or two longer than anybody else. And he couldn't get to the front. And that was all she wrote. And give Majestic Dan a lot of credit. He got to the rail and hugged that rail the whole way. In fact, the jockey said his boot was hitting the rail. They were that close. And that was the difference. And Harry, you talk about objection, but I'll tell you what. Those two horses that finished second or third, man, that looked like a NASCAR race they were bumping down the stretch, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was incredible the way they were doing that. And quite honestly, there were so many things that had to happen for the 3-horse to win. I'll tell you what, we'll get to that in a second. There was no way that the 17 was going to make the lead in that race. You line those jockeys up and those horses in the same position the next 10 times, and he will get the lead 0 out of 10. There was no way that he was taking the lead away from the 12. And that's why he was a false favorite. That's why all that smart money went to the inside to Sierra Leone in the 2 gate. And let me tell you something. That horse is something special. Had he won that race, I'm telling you now, and I'll announce it, he would have won the next 2. And it's even not going to benefit him because this year, the third leg of the Triple Crown is not going to be held at Belmont this year. They're still under construction. They're going to hold it where favorites go to die, and that's Saratoga.
Saratoga, yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why the 3 won that race. He actually came out of the gate. He's always been a deep closer, and he initially gave him that lunge to get him right into the middle of the pack, and then he tucked him into the rail. And Rosario, around that last turn, come right over the top of him because Rosario, let me tell you something. He's one of the best jockeys on the planet. He's not been running as good as he has. That's why he's not getting the mounts that he was getting. I know I'm kind of talking Greek to a few people. But when he tried to put the 3 into the rail, the 3 blew through him. And when he got to the front, and I went, oh, Lord, let's get it to the wire. I mean, I was screaming, wire, baby, get to the wire. Because I see in the 2 coming, I'm like, get to the wire. And then when I started seeing him hanging, I went, it's over. Beat the Greek from here. It ain't happening.
Right.
All right, good stuff there. Let's start out with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, to update the score, White Sox are winning 4-1 right now, top of the 9th. So we'll see if the Rays can get.
And Chicago has a runner on second with 2 outs.
Yes, and I think we got some stars here. Did somebody give some stars? No. Okay. All right, Tim. Thanks a lot for tuning in as always. Levante David, of course, coming back on a 1-year deal for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with substantial raise, and he deserved it because he clearly is still the best linebacker on this team. Was asked about, once again, the disrespect by the national media. A lot of pundits out there taking the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins becoming the favorite. I don't know what you think about this, Harry, but he basically said it's been like that for a while. So is that really the DNA of this team, Leo? Is that they know they're.
I want to go last on this one.
Yeah, they're an underdog, so that definitely motivates them. That puts a chip on their shoulder because, to me, I get it. I understand the hype with the Atlanta Falcons getting a Kirk Cousins and all the weapons, but still, if you think it doesn't run through Tampa Bay, then I don't know what you've been watching the last couple of years.
Peter, it doesn't run through Tampa Bay. That's the problem because everybody throughout the country, what have they said? Atlanta needs a quarterback. That's the only missing piece. Now, the fact that Tampa Bay is not getting disrespected, but just not getting any cred for winning the daggone NFC South. Everybody said this was a bad division. No, it was a 3-team division that had a whole lot of balance in it. Yeah, Carolina was terrible. They're probably going to be terrible again. I'm going to come out right now and say, come December, you're going to be able to throw your daggone blanket within a game or two of those 3 teams, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay. It's not because it's a weak division. It's a very balanced division. And if Kirk Cousins can come in, he threw more touchdown passes before he got hurt than Atlanta had all season. So, I get where they're coming from, but the bottom line is, look who they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play the AFC West and the NFC East. Man, that's a meat grinder, especially if you got to go to Vegas or Denver with the altitude and Vegas with the nightlife. A problem.
I believe Vegas is here. I believe Denver and the Chargers are on the road. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure of that. And then, of course, you got the Ravens. You've got the 49ers on that schedule. You've got Kansas City on the road. So it's definitely going to be tough. Let me ask you, Harry, because you definitely chimed in. You wanted to chime in on this. Is it better that the Bucs are underdogs? Because, once again, they're under the radar, so the expectations are not there. So basically, players won't believe their own press clippings. Is that fair?
Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not underdogs because they now have a $100 million quarterback. Let's just be clear about that. They are built to win. The people know it, except for the pundits. The pundits are still going to knock them down because they're enamored with 100-year-old Kirk Cousins, who just had an Achilles tear. And to be honest, the guy was never mobile before. And you've done nothing to address the offensive line that was atrocious last year. They couldn't even run block all that well. You've got decent weapons at the wide receiver position. A tight end that you wasted a first-round draft pick. I'm announcing it. He's a bust, okay, because they have not utilized him, and you've ruined his potential and capabilities. This is the year. If he doesn't do it this year, he's done. Kyle Pitts, forget about it. That's just another wasted Florida draft pick. And I'm going to be really hard. What the hell was Atlanta thinking not addressing this defense? They don't even have a defensive lineman. It's even worth a damn. The one that they did have is 150 years old, and he's in free agency right now. So for people to turn around and make Atlanta the favorite to win this division and be over 9.5 games to win this year, I'm going to go ahead and give it out right now. Bet the under all day long. Okay. All day long. Kirk Cousins doesn't make it to game 5 this year.
Wow.
They will finish, you ready? 3rd in this division. 3rd. Let me repeat it. 3rd. You've got a non-mobile quarterback. Non-mobile. No offensive line to protect you. But yet you're picking this team to do that and to win over 9.5 games. Your division winners are going to come between New Orleans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa struggles with them. I think they split with New Orleans this year, but I do think that they sweep Atlanta and both Carolina as well. And by the way, bet the over in Carolina this year and wins. They will win 4 ball games this year.
Oh, all right. God, yes.
Strong comments there. And it kind of goes back to what you said, Leo, as the reason why you draft Penix in the first place is because you don't necessarily believe that Cousins is fully healthy. There could be some punishment. We haven't heard that. So that's just assumption on our part. But, maybe Cousins isn't fully healed. Maybe he doesn't make it through the whole year. So at least you have a quarterback who you feel like could be your future.
Don't Achilles tear. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
And you know what? You guys, another one?
ACL.
No, there was an Achilles. I thought he had hurt that as well. Was it an ACL?
It's ACL, yeah. Torn ACL.
He's got even probably less of a chance now because an ACL, you're afraid to even take a hit and especially pivot off that leg. Forget about it. That's really tough. You want to talk about a difficult one? Let's switch it over to the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers. Oh, my Lord. He's even older coming off of that, and he relies on those wheels to go ahead and make the good decisions. That's another team that could be in a little bit of a trouble this year. But going back to that NFC South, Leo, it's going to be tough. I understand that. It's going to be a two-way fight between New Orleans and Tampa Bay. I think Atlanta finishes 3rd, respectfully, and Carolina finishes dead last.
Harry, I'm going to throw it back to you real quick. I think 9 wins may win the division. What do you think?
No, I honestly think after looking at the schedule, depending on where they're going to play them, I got the Bucs between 9 and 12 this year, to believe it or not.
Yeah, I do.
Depending on where they're playing, some of these games at home are going to be key. And I'm going to be right up front with you. I am really more optimistic about this team this year than I have from last year, or even the year before when one Tom Brady was here. I'm more optimistic about this team. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. When they lost Ryan Jensen, they tried that little mix match thing. We're going to try to patchwork this offensive line. We're the Buccaneers, and we're going to be great.
Yeah.
And you still won the division. That offensive line sucked. That was horrible. I'm sorry, Tampa fans. That was embarrassing to watch. You couldn't run the football. You couldn't protect Baker. There was a 5-game span that Baker Mayfield looked so pedestrian. It was horrible. Horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But in the first round this year, you addressed that issue that quick. I mean, that quick. Now you're going to put Hainsey back into his natural position. Brother, let me tell you something. This team is nothing to mess with, especially offensively. They got really good wide receivers. The running game is going to be stout this year. That's right. They're actually going to have a running game, Leo. Can you believe that? They're going to have a running game. And the defense, it's going to regress a little bit, but the offense is going to pick it up.
And you know what, guys? Peter, let me throw this out real quick.
Yeah, sure. Go
I have never seen a team or a division that's going to depend on the scheduling like this. If the Bucs get an early bye week, that is doomsday.
Yeah,
they need to get a bye week at least week 9 or higher. Also, I'm scared to death they're going to get a trip to England or to Germany because
they're supposed to go to Munich this year.
Yeah, think about it. The Glazers have a team over there.
I want to go out to Tom. Bucs traveling to Munich versus Carolina per my ticket rep. So
I didn't hear versus Carolina, but I did hear they're going to Germany this year. I also heard the Chicago Bears are going to England this year.
I mean, there's a lot of schedule leaks going on, and we won't.
You ready? Our Chicago fans that are out there, they are supposed to be primetime queens this year. I'm not kidding you. They got more primetime games you can shake a stick at. Not bad for getting the first overall pick in the draft.
Well, there's an intrigue to it with Caleb Williams. We're talking about that schedule. We'll get back to Levante David in a moment because he had some other interesting comments that I wanted to ask Harry and Leo about. You're on the sports web right now. It's The Evolution. I'm your host, giving you something to think about.
And just to let you know, your Chicago White Sox just defeated the Tampa Bay Rays, for the Chicago. Oh, wait a minute. There are a lot of Chicago people on this podcast, on this show. Your Chicago White Sox defeated the Tampa Bay Rays to take the season record against Tampa, 4-2. And that gives Chicago their 9th win of the season. And 4 of them were against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Shut up!
Oh, and Bushman? Yeah. And Bushman?
Yes.
Really?
Al Bushman, yes. What did he say?
He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, I want to go out to Alex, and then we'll get back to the schedule here. The Bucs will play as an underdog again this season and shock the world, winning the division again. I like that comment. Good. Ooh, yeah. Let's go out to Thomas. Bucs traveling. We read that one. Vita says, "I'm sorry, but I can say I'm not still convinced about Mayfield."
That's understandable. I'm not either because he's never put back-to-back years together. I mean, what do you think, Leo and Pete?
I want to ask.
He's never put back-to-back healthy years together, Harry, and that's a good point.
Yeah, but you know what? I guess he got the best chance to stay healthy this year. They finally got an offensive line.
Well, there you go. And this is what Liam Cohen said, and we mentioned this on Monday. I want to get your thoughts on it, Leo. And again, Harry.
Liam Cohen?
Liam Cohen is the new offensive
coordinator.
Oh, that's it. I'm sorry. I thought it was some other pundit. I was trying to be a smart ass. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. Sometimes you're just an ass. You can sense that for sure. There's not many days you don't think Baker wakes up and he doesn't have a chip on his left shoulder, but there's definitely a feeling that this is his team. And it's okay to fail. It's okay. Go out there, let it rip. Be yourself every single day, no matter what, because you're going to be the guy. We believe in you. There's something that ultimately he has not really had the opportunity to have all that often in his career. You definitely feel a quiet, calming confidence but he still is the same guy. He's out there when we get on the grass, talking smack, getting after it, just having fun with the guys. I think that's what's ultimately made him a great leader. It's because he's best friends with the O-line. And
you know what? That's
that,
a great
to me,
read right there.
it is, absolutely, because he basically points it out. And I understand that there are questions about Mayfield. There's still going to be questions about Mayfield because of the consistency factor. But when has he been able by an organization to say, you're the guy, that he hasn't had to look over his shoulder, where he's gotten the offensive line addressed, where you just, there's a belief here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with signing him to that $100 million contract. That goes a long way. I get it. There's a lot of money there, a lot of cheese, a lot of dough. But it's also a confidence factor. What do you say, Leo?
Please stay healthy, because if he can dress 17 games, this team has a real good shot of winning the division. If he goes down in week 5,
go making a deep run, Leo.
Yeah, oh yeah. If he goes down in week 5 or 6, and Kyle Trask has to come in, hey, could be a long season down here in Tampa Bay.
Well, you don't want to think that, because you don't know what you're going to get in Kyle Trask, and we've kind of gone back and forth on this. And the Bucs they seem like they're. I don't know if he's ever going to get that shot, especially if Mayfield, again, knock on wood, is healthy. Go ahead, Harry.
Let me be really clear about something with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's best years were in Cleveland when he had that running game. Let me tell you something. There was very few teams that had a running game like this. Baker Mayfield would go as far as what this Buccaneers offensive running game is going to take him. Let me be really clear when I say this. He is one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League at hiding the play action pass. When that running game is working, Baker Mayfield can play it on the field. You can say whatever you want about the receivers with Odell Beckham Jr. He has not had a set of receivers like he's had here in Tampa Bay. And if that running game goes good, this offense is really going to chime. And I'm going to tell you right now, if they do average 100 yards a game on the ground, this
they
team
win
will
12
average
games, Harry. They
12
win 12
games, and they will put 28 points per game up. I promise you.
All right, Leo. Cohen also had some comments about diversifying the run game, not going with those kind of looks. Just paraphrasing, it certainly seemed like he was throwing Dave Canales, under the bus. Is that what you saw last year with this running game? It was very, very elementary, if you will. One look, you knew when they were going to run the ball. And that's what Cohen said. He's going to change it up. He's going to change up the looks. Is that key to this season for them, not only to have success, of course it's up front, but to change up those looks? Talk about this from a coaching perspective, Leo.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Go look at some Rams tape. And they do so much motion and shifting pre-snap. It's like a mirage out there. You don't know what's going to happen. I go back to when Peyton Manning was quarterback. It was a chess game. He would sit there, the defense would move, he'd change the play. The defense would move, he'd change the play. Peyton wanted to make sure he got down and had the last move. That's what Cohen wants. He wants the last move. You're going to see a lot of shifting, a lot of movement. It's going to be trying to confuse the defense. But you know what? I'm not going to throw Canales under the bus simply because that offensive line. Peter, remember I told you I saw the Dallas Cowboys highlight film? Half of it was just their defense just demoralizing and decapitating the Bucs because they couldn't block them. Now, hold on. And Harry, I agree with you. You put Barton at center, you can move Hainsey where he wants to be, or Hainsey can be that backup and saves you another offensive line instead of having to draft 8. You got your 5 starters, you got Hainsey backing up at all 5, and you got another center. So now you got one other position that you could have a return guy, maybe another corner. So yeah, it's a big move.
Let me chime in, Pete, because I love talking about this because it's kind of near and dear to my heart.
I know this.
I like running football teams, not the ones that scheme like the Rams do. All that tells me is you have inferior type of offensive linemen. And I'm telling you what, Leo is going to just beam when I say this. I love when teams can run the football and they're basically dictating where they're going to go with the ball, and then they impose their will on defensive lines. And that's what's going to happen this year. If they decide to commit to running the football, and they're telling you you're going to run a sweep to the left and you can't stop it, now you know you're just You're just being a grinder, just right down the field, and all of a sudden the play action pass because everybody's sniffing into the backfield and the receivers are wide open. That's what this team's going to do this year. Forget about all these schemes about, oh, I'm going to run motion here and double reverses. That's all horseshit. Just stop it. That's just another way of fumbling a foot. That's just another way of fumbling a football. Leo, give me the old Walter Paytons back there when they ran the ball 45 times a game and they knew it was coming. You still couldn't stop it. It's not because he was a great running back. It's because the offensive linemen were doing their jobs and absolutely dominating the lines. Tell me you wouldn't like to see that again.
Well, so, tell you what, guys, and Harry, you got the nail on the head. All this stuff is going to do is move around specialty people. Those 5 guys in the trenches know what the play is. They know who they're going to block. They're just trying to get a team to either back one of those backers out, to go dime, to go nickel, and then run it down your throat. Because, guys, I preach this to anybody who would listen. What's the 3 things that a quarterback wants to make him successful? A good offensive line, a very good running game, and a great tight end over the middle.
All right, guys, I want to go out to these comments, and Leo,
they need a tight end, by the way.
I know your time is running out. We should add Howard or Gilmore, and we would shore up the back end. I think they're pretty happy with the back end, although NFL.com didn't see it that way. In fact, they said Jason Light placed a substantial bet on 2022 fifth-round pick Zion McCollum by trading Carlton Davis to Detroit in March. Then the Tampa Bay GM doubled down by avoiding the position altogether in the draft. Bold strategy, Jason. We'll see if it pays off, but enough about the picks the Bucs didn't make. How about the cards they actually turned in? He goes on to say Graham Barton was a good pick. Chris Braswell was a good pick, of course, and then Bucky Irving, which we'll get back to in a moment. But Zion McCollum, this back end, you add Jordan Whitehead. Are we not talking about this back end enough? Because here's a safety who's highly talented, can make plays in Todd Bowles' defense. You look at Ryan Neal. Whitehead is definitely a big-time upgrade. And maybe Zion McCollum is a big-time upgrade simply because, maybe he's not as talented as Davis, but he's able to stay on the field. And he showed some flashes of brilliance last year, Leo.
Absolutely, but here's the problem, guys. If you expect 4 guys to line up 17 games at corner and safeties, it's not going to happen. You better be 6 or 7 deep back there.
That's
because you're going to get guys hurt. That's just the nature of the beast with the NFL. So I may agree with they are a little thin back there, but expect them once the teams start cutting people in that, they're going to add some defensive backs.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And another thing is, I think you might see a little difference. When you're thin like that, you're not going to see as much blitzing, thank God. Okay. And you're definitely not going to see as much man coverage. There's nothing wrong with playing zone because you know what? The front four that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have can still stop the run and they can apply pressure to the quarterback. That's right. Everybody was shaking like a whore in church, thinking they weren't going to get anybody to rush the quarterback. This defense is built to get after the quarterback. And with a 4-man front with strategic, and the key word is strategic blitzes, not blitzing 50% of the times, you can run a lot more zone and still get protection. You can just keep everything in front of you. That's the type of football that Peter Dixon's like. My God, they're giving up so many yards, but they're not giving up the points. That's what you're going to see this year, and you're going to get pressure. You're going to have more pressure on the quarterback this year than you had last year. I'm even more optimistic about this team, especially defensively.
And the key is, guys, number 50 right in the middle. Ron Jaworski will tell you, anybody who's played quarterback in the NFL will tell you, you put color in a quarterback's face, he becomes, as Harry said, very pedestrian because that's the hardest thing to do. You can come off the edge all you want because I can step up. But if I can't step up because here comes Vita Vea and he's chewing up 2 guys, there's a problem.
Yep, it sure is.
He may be.
Now you got Harry words out there, pedestrian.
He may be a big-time problem because he's lost weight. What do you say about that? Last question for you, Leo. With a defensive tackle who's played big throughout his career, about 360, 370, loses weight, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Why would Vea do this? Do you think he was instructed by the coaches to do this to
gotta get faster, brother,
to be better, to be better and also deal with the heat. Because Warren Sapp kind of talked about this a couple years ago where he didn't understand why the Bucs drafted Vea. He was so big. He thought
Sapp could shut up sometimes, for God's sakes.
He would wilt under the sun. I mean, is that a consideration at this point, Leo?
Peter, when they say lose weight, okay, he goes from 370 to maybe 330, 340.
It's a big difference there, Lee.
He's still a pretty good-sized human being.
He still is big. Hold on. He's still as big almost as Keith Trailer. What are you kidding me? And the guy's got a burst. The guy has a burst.
He looks
for his size, it's unbelievable.
What's the word I'm looking for? It looks svelte. Is that the word?
I don't know.
No.
Warren Sapp didn't like the draft pick. Of course he did, because he knew he was going to plug up the middle. Warren, for everybody's edification, there's a reason why I said that about Warren Sapp, because he has never once endorsed a defensive lineman.
That's
that
not
the Tampa Bay Bucs. Yeah, name one that he's endorsed that played for Tampa.
Well, at first it was McCoy, and then they kind of got into something.
No kidding. He gets into it with everybody.
Right, everybody, yes.
I mean, Warren Sapp will get into it with the guy at the McDonald's drive-thru if you let him.
Oh, he got into it with a sports talk show host at a radio station because the sports talk show host mistaken him for a camera guy in the heat of the moment because he thought he was going on the field and thought he would know, and then come face-to-face with him.
I'll tell you a story about Home Depot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you. No, not on air.
Okay.
It's that disgusting.
Okay. All right, Leo, get out of here or unless you want to hang out for
Leo, you going to hang out with the boys, bro? Come on.
Guys, I love to, but as you can hear, I'm kind of going downhill here. So
All right.
I'm hanging there, guys. Hey, I had a great post today on Amped Up Sports. I talked about, what's broken needs to be fixed. How about the NBA? 3 things.
That's broke.
I'm tired of watching these guys whine every time they take a shot. Guess what? You're not getting fouled every play, so shut up and play. The second thing, I think I'm watching soccer with all the embellishment on contact. My God, come on. And the third thing, the last 2 minutes of an NBA game, dear God, it's like pulling teeth. It is like watching butter melt. They wonder why people turn the game off. That's why. It takes 20 minutes to play 2. They got to do something about this. And how about Jamal Murray getting a $100,000 fine for throwing something to the referee while the game's going on? Do you think they want Denver to go on to the next level, fellas? Because that's a suspension offense. That's not a fine.
Well,
they're going to suspend him like they suspended all the players that have been betting. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. These guys cry so much in the NBA now that I can't even stomach watching it. Can you imagine?
It's the flop LeBron era.
Okay. Can you imagine if this era?
Yes.
Can you imagine if they were playing in the late 80s or through the 90s, even the 2002?
No.
Are you kidding me? Oh, stop. Steph Curry would go off for about a half and then he could be dead.
Yeah, you know what, guys? They'd go to the basket and Chamberlain or Russell or Nate Thurman or Clifford Ray would put him in the third row and they'd look at the referee and say, hey, you're an idiot going in there.
Sally.
You deserve to end up in the third row.
Right, exactly.
How about an offensive player like a Larry Bird? Can you imagine Dean up against him? Are you kidding me? That's hilarious. Oh, by the way, I have a little stat for you. The Chicago White Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays, Pete.
Yeah.
Their all-time record is 100-86, Chicago.
Well, thank you very much for that.
This guy.
Guys, I'm out of here.
What
I'll
I've seen on
talk to you next
TV.
Wednesday.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks a lot. Next Wednesday, my friend, for the schedule release. As again, we will not be live on Thursday. I thought we were going to be, but the NFL decided, you know what, another week. What do you say about that? Because a lot of NFL fans are waiting for the schedule to be released. Now it's next Wednesday. It's not Thursday. What do you say?
Listen, man, on TV, sex sells.
Okay.
In the NFL,
schedules
are sexy.
It is. You know,
it's exactly what it is.
Chicks dig the long ball and schedules are sexy.
Just like the NFL draft.
Yeah.
You know, anything they can do to try to make a dollar.
All right, so let's go ahead and go out to these comments. I don't know where you go. First, Roger Shoup, Baker Mayfield. Okay, this is what you get for that.
This guy sucks.
All right. Okay, we read that comment. Game On says, give Baker a consistent pocket and a running game, and we will win the division again.
I agree.
I mean, and you know what? Again, I'm going to pat you on the back because you said this during the offseason. Yes, I know. Professional handicapper extraordinaire of the sports web said, get an interior lineman. That was the most important need. And guess
he picked
what?
the guy's name.
Yes, he did. And he plays all 5 positions.
I know.
Pretty good pick by Jason Light. Good thing they were listening to you and not me. Although, once again, I will say this. If there were an edge rusher on the board, I think they would have gone with edge, but it was the right pick to get Barton.
Yeah, they were still taking Barton. But by the way, Pete,
Vita says,
I've never seen anybody make the first 12 picks the way you did in that draft. I got to be honest with you. That was like dead nuts.
Thank you.
You actually picked it better than JC Allen. That's right, JC. You heard it. My boy over here.
He's on right now. He's on Instagram. So JC, if you want to jump on and defend yourself,
got you, JC.
I got you, buddy.
I monitored it.
I got you. They're right there. All right. So Vita is convinced now. I think there's a lot of Bucs fans out there that feel like that. And we've kind of talked about this. Do you think there's ever going to come a point of time where Bucs fans just simply believe in Baker Mayfield that he's the guy, or will this be all throughout his career that you will have a divided fan base where one side says Baker's got his new contract, he's going to do whatever he needs to do to win for this team, and the other side of this is going to say, no, we still don't believe in Baker, we don't like Baker? Is it because of his personality, because he has been so polarizing, Leo word, throughout his career? Is that the reason why this fan base is so divided on Mayfield, in your opinion, Harry?
Many answers to that question. And, I can put it in 2 different ways.
Okay.
There's not a market out there with the National Football League team where they're 100%, the fan base is completely committed to their quarterback.
Yeah.
Not even, well, maybe Patrick Mahomes, but name another one.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Joe Montana was the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, they were like, oh, bring in Steve Young. And I mean, it's the backup's always going to be sexy. But a lot of people I've heard say that Baker Mayfield was driven by his contracts, or, for the fact that, look, man, the bottom line is this. You give him a running game and you give him an offensive line, he's going to be very serviceable this year. And he could lead this team to another division win. But there's always that I say that enough, going to be people enamored with that backup quarterback or saying we should have had this person.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. And you said sexy again.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So I'll give you the Austin Powers because you don't say that enough on this. Let's see here. They are crybabies in the NBA. I like Vita. She definitely brings something to the table.
What's up, Vita?
You're exactly right, because the old NBA with, what we talked about, the bad boys and the Boston Celtics, and of course, Magic Johnson and the Lakers, and of course the Bulls after that. There's some great teams there, but the physicality is missing from the NBA at this point.
There's no defense, Pete.
Yes, none. There's no defense. If you sneeze on a guy, you get a foul. If you hard foul a guy, it's a flagrant. I mean, it's unbelievable at this point how the game, the physicality of the game has been taken out, how the big man has been taken out of the game, and how also when you're watching this and you don't have more players driving it to the bucket, they're settling for a 3. I can't remember a time besides this one. 20 years ago, you go on a fast break, you don't go back to the 3-point line and shoot a 3. You go to the bucket, you dunk it, or you make a good pass where somebody's open. You don't just settle for a 3 on a fast break. I don't know. It's not my type of basketball, although the Magic did pretty well. Besides the last game, blowing an 18-point lead, you just can't do that, Magic. But Paulo Boncaro, 38 points in Game 7. He's only 22 years old. The sky's the limit for that kid. Complete BS, making us wait. I agree with you. I'm going to ask the fans tonight. Are you excited about the schedule release? Would you like to see it this week on Thursday like we thought? Or are you okay with Wednesday? And once again, what matchup this year are you looking forward to with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Get on the phone lines right now, and let's talk about it. Yeah, go ahead, Harry.
Or if you got a comment for the Greek and Pete, just go ahead and post it. We're going to read it live on the air. But Pete, let's go full conspiracy theory here. Maybe they're holding it because there's some NFL teams that just don't like the schedule and they're in Roger Goodell's back pocket. Why not? There's coaches and players that are betting on the game. Why couldn't they buy the commissioner and say, hey, let's just hold this up for another week until we get the schedule we want?
Right. Well, again.
I mean, is that really far-fetched? Because there's really no reason why they have to wait another week.
Ratings.
There is none, Pete.
Ratings. I mean, but you have nothing on right now besides what? What do you have going on right now? Hockey playoffs. I guess there's some hockey fans out there. NBA playoffs. Okay. Next Wednesday, you really don't have any.
Pete, the NFL sneezes during a playoff game in hockey.
Right.
And hockey just disappears. Okay, baseball disappears when the NFL makes a sneeze or an announcement. I mean, everything's just on hold because the national. Listen, baseball's America's team.
Night this year in Brazil. Like, think about that. Like, Friday nights are reserved for high school football, and you're opening up an NFL game, and nobody cares. You know why? Because everybody loves the NFL. Black Friday used to be a shopping holiday. Not for me. Not for men out there. You go out there, honey. Go out there. Shop all you want to.
I'm going to Black Friday.
Spend as much money as you want to. Guess what? I get a chance to sit home and watch the NFL on Black Friday.
Let's go through those comments, buddy.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's definitely do that. All right. I think it sucks. Okay. Absolutely. Let's go out to Vita. You mean trash filled.
That's funny.
I like
that.
Yeah. Go Bucs all day long. Let's go.
Hey, can I ask you for a favor?
What's up?
Don't play that one anymore.
Why? It's Tom Brady. Why can't I play the Let's Go? Why I can't play this one either? Hold on. I can't play this.
How about them Bucs, baby?
I mean, that's Byron Leftwich, but he says, "How
about?"
No,
I'd rather have Byron's voice.
We can't do this one.
That's great enough to suck right there.
Did you watch the roast, by the way? I didn't get a chance to watch. I heard it was 3 hours long.
You couldn't pay me enough.
What? I'm going to watch it tonight after that, just because you said that. Even though it's 3 hours and I may stay up all night long, watch it. I'm going to watch it on Netflix. By the way, $25 million to do that roast for Tom Brady.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
They paid him what?
$25 million to do a roast.
Wow.
Wouldn't you do that? $25 million? Get on the phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. I want to know the people out there that watched the roast, was it $25 million worth it? Was it really good? I heard it was really funny. They made some Aaron Hernandez jokes about murder, which a lot of people rubbed the wrong way, especially the fiance saying, I think it's disrespectful. You know what's disrespectful? Your sweetheart there, your husband, he killed a couple people. That's probably more disrespectful than those jokes the other night. Just saying. All right. Let's see. Bears will win the Norris.
That's a good one.
You like that one?
I like that. I like that.
You buy that?
Banner always brings it in. Let me tell you something. Caleb Williams does something this year with it. Why not?
Let me pose this question to you and Chicago Bear fans that are watching this show. What are the expectations? What are the? I'm trying to look for the word here to say. What are the expectations for this team? Does he have to make the playoffs? Being Williams in this team, do they have to win the division? Do you have to make a wild card? Realistic expectations. That's what I'm looking for. Realistic
6 games by 3 points or less. I'm going to repeat it. 6 games by 3 points or less.
So if they don't make the playoffs,
by
it's
3
the
points
failure.
or less. Yeah, it'll be a complete failure, especially with what they did with this defense.
Okay.
Offense, especially what they've done with this offense. I mean, you got to give me a break, man. I mean, this team's built to win. All this guy's got to do is snap it and just toss it out of the backfield or just hit a guy in a crossing route. What are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is going to be a pretty damn good team this year. I'd be really surprised if they don't push for this division. And I'll tell you what, it's between Green Bay and Chicago. I think Detroit's going to regress that year. I'm sorry, Detroit fans, but I think that team's really regressing this year. That took a lot out of them out of the playoffs. They got quite a few holes. And FYI, even the Detroit community knows that Chicago is so well improved. What did they do? They really addressed that secondary because nobody wants to go against that track meet.
Well, they got the greatness of Carlton Davis, who
and they drafted somebody. Are you kidding me? There's so many receivers now on that Bears team. Let me tell you something. There's pundits out there and former players that are saying this Chicago Bears offense could be lighting up the NFL for years to come, especially what they did at the wide receiver position.
Yeah. Well, again, we're going to have to see what happens at the end of the day with all these teams. Green Bay may also, I know you that you hate the Green Bay Packers, but with Jordan Love and all those weapons, Green Bay sucks. They still may be in contention for that division when all is said and done. Let me go out to Jeremy here. Win in the trenches. Get after the quarterback. Absolutely. Tom says, unless Eberflus takes up putting ketchup on a Chicago dog. Vita says, I think he's contract driven. Maybe.
Hey, did she say that too?
Well, contract about Baker Mayfield getting that big time contract. So now he rests on his laurels. By the way, what's it mean when you rest on your laurels? What is the laurels? What is a laurel?
It's just you're just kind of being, I don't know. I guess you could be like kind of complacent. I mean, you're asking me questions like that. Leo needs to be in the room.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I'm Ray Kennedy.
Right, yeah.
When I hear the word laurel, that reminds me of the horse track that's in Maryland. That's Laurel.
Right. Well, I don't know.
While Peter's trying to look it up to make us smarter, if you have a question or comment for the Greek or Pete, go ahead and post them. We're going to go ahead and read them live on the air. Or you can give us a call live. Right now, we'll take your call at 727. Let me see. Yeah, 255-0391. That's 727-255-0391.
And by the way, somebody just texted me. He says, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. I like watching. No, you're not making me uncomfortable. Absolutely. Comment away. I love the engagement here. I love the comments, answering questions. That's what we do. That's what the sports web is all about. It is. Well,
you do bite, though, Peter.
I do bite on what? No, I don't. If the refs had the balls, they would tee up players for whining. Good stuff, Christopher Cole. I like that.
Bring that back up. Bring that back up. Yes, that's Christopher Cole.
Yes.
Oh my God, he is so hilarious. For those of you that don't know who Chris Cole is, God bless him. If I had half the moxie that man has, I'll be a better person. Seriously.
Absolutely.
He's just a great individual. He's a faithful listener. And you know what?
How many years has he been listening to the show? And this goes
ever since I've been on.
Bucs Report. It goes back to NSPN. It goes back.
Wait a minute. This goes back to the Antichrist.
It does. It absolutely does. You know what?
What'd you have for dinner?
But what'd you have for dinner? I don't know what we have for dinner.
There's an inside joke to that.
Yeah. Go to hell with that.
Don't let your children out at the dinner table.
Exactly. Don't. Cleveland didn't want him. We inherited him. Hi guys. Yes. Hi again. Thanks a lot for tuning in. That's Vita. Vita's killing it tonight. Vita's killing it. Vita has all the comments tonight.
I will tell you one thing though. Okay.
Yes.
Tom Banner, you're right. Bring that comment up there.
All right, let's go out to Tom.
Not only did the ex-White Sox pitcher make the Cubs look like fools today, Dylan Cease, you mean the former prospect from the Chicago Cubs who went to the Chicago White Sox made them look stupid. By the way, he's Cy Young material. Awesome.
Well, yeah, he's always been Cy Young material if he can stay more consistent and also healthy.
Oh, no, he's consistent. He's been consistent for a couple of years. This guy's going to have a phenomenal year this year.
All right, let's go out to the Tribal Troll. Here we go.
Acknowledge me.
Roger Sue, welcome to the Evolution. Yes, you missed me today on the carpool.
Catch a beater.
Well, I acknowledged you. You did beat me on the phone today because I had a short day, but that happens sometimes.
Peter, ketchup, hot dog eater.
Yep, there you go. All right, Roger, you shut up and be quiet.
This guy sucks.
All right, go ahead.
Well, how can I shut up and be quiet when I called in to talk to you?
Well, I told
let the Greekite speak.
All right, go ahead, Greekite, speak.
Thank you. Dylan C sucks. That's why he plays for the White Sox.
No, he doesn't play for the White Sox anymore. He plays for the Giants, and he made the Cubs look horrible today.
Who does Dylan Cease play for, by the way, Roger?
The Giants, I believe.
Okay. It doesn't suck.
Congratulations, Harry, on your win over the Rays.
They're 4-2 against the Rays this year.
Yeah, there you go.
They got 4 of their 9 wins this year against the Rays.
Way to go. Are you going to do a jig down the block there?
No, actually, Dylan Cease pitches for San Diego. My bad. A jig. Hold on. That's Tom. Are you going to allow Peter talk to me like that, Banner?
I'm just saying, you guys talk about.
He's the one who goes out in the middle of downtown with a Guinness in his hand doing his little jig.
That's you, man. I'm not a drinker. Go ahead, Roger.
What has happened to this show? My God.
Well, you got on it. That's what happened.
Exactly.
Well, we just need Ray. We just need
Bears.
Tampa Bay Ray in front of the massage parlor again. It says open. Oh,
Please
that would be awesome.
Stay away from massage parlors, Tampa Bay Ray.
That was hilarious.
No rub and tug.
Yes,
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious on the the roast the other night where it looked like Tom Brady told Jeff Ross. Jeff said he made a great decision, and then Tom asked Kraft if he could massage him. And Brady walked up to him and said, "Don't say that stuff again." He didn't say stuff. It looked real. Maybe he was playing it off, but he looked like he was kind of pissed off.
I think it was real.
All right, well maybe. So, all right, what else?
Chicago Bears will have more wins than Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. I will put money on it to both of you.
You're out of your mind. But what's the realistic?
Why? Why is he out of his mind?
You're out of. I don't know. He's not going to have more wins than the Bucs. They may have similar. I don't think you're going to have more wins because the Bucs are in
put
the
your money
NFC
up,
South.
Peter Blake.
It could be
I
tough.
put my money up last year, and you didn't pay.
Easy, Pete. Easy. Don't have a coronary, buddy. I can see that little vein, that cute little vein going across your brow there.
And when the Hulk comes out, and I say, "Don't."
The Hulk? He's 5'0". What Hulk?
You make me mad. Shut up and be quiet.
Shut up!
Hang on. This is the Hulk. Here it is. Tom Banner says it.
I'll do this. I'll put up $100. I'll put up $100 in cash.
Okay.
I'll give it to the Greek to hold for the bet.
Okay. Good enough.
It's flashing, just like Ray Kennedy did.
Open.
Remember?
Right. Yeah. Open. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what.
You know what I'm going to do with the $100 they win from you, Peter? I'm going to buy you $100 with the Heinz ketchup.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What
He's
else?
Awesome.
What else, Roger?
Nothing really. It's been kind of slow in sports. I mean, we were supposed to get the picks or the schedule tomorrow night, but
I thought we were going to get that, but the NFL decided to change it to next Wednesday.
Raj.
So you will get it next Wednesday, probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock when the schedule is done. We'll have your schedule released. We'll have all your thoughts and commentary. Going to work on trying to get TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, get his thoughts, everybody else's thoughts. That's what
you know what I really hate about Goodell more than anything?
What's up?
That I have to share a name with that piece of shit.
Man, you are on one tonight, Roger. You really are.
Share a name with who?
Roger
Goodell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
You know, when anybody mentions Roger Goodell's name, you got to play the boo.
I can play the boo. All right, let me see if I got it.
I love that.
All right, so there you go.
That should be
How
a
about
monster
new?
sports web
Oh
from
my
now on.
God! Who the hell cares?
All right.
and Vita, there she goes.
Boo. There you go. I like her being around. She's killing it tonight with all the comments. Like it, Vita. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Good job, Vita. Been a great show, guys. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Keep tuning in.
All right. You're not
Go
watching.
Bucs, go Rays, go Sox, go Cubs, go Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, and Lightning, and everybody else.
All right, get out of here. Go home. There you go. Roger Shoe right there. Open phone line 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let's keep on reading these comments. Totally compared to old school. The Jordan, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing. Absolutely. Fact.
Oh my God, yeah.
We could talk NBA all night long. I'm excited about the Magic. I'll ask this question to the Magic fans because we do talk a little NBA on this show. With what they have on their roster with Franz Wagner, of course, Boncaro there, Jalen Suggs, do you go after a veteran like a Klay Thompson who's getting up there in age? The points have gone down, but he's that veteran presence.
Nah, you don't take Klay Thompson.
What about a Paul George? Do you take a Paul George? Or do you just continue to build through the draft, which you've done? Because they have an opportunity with their cap increase. I think it's something like 32 million or more that they can go out there and get a superstar player. Who would you go after? You're an NBA fan. Is it a George? Is it a Klay Thompson or something?
Don't ask me. Move on. Ask somebody else. I don't watch the NBA anymore. I don't even bet on them anymore.
I just watch the Orlando Magic at this point. I watch a little bit. I try to watch as much as I can. I'm looking forward to playing the Chiefs again. Go Bucs. Absolutely go Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
I think everybody's looking forward to seeing the Chiefs. Of course, that will be a road game, not a home game this time. Agree, Peter. Thank you very much, Vita. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Tom. Packers game is Brazil. Counts as a home game. The Cheeseheads are going postal, and that is the disappointing thing in the NFC this year, playing 9 home games, but you may lose one of those, and that's the problem. I get it. You want to have that expansion.
They're going to Brazil.
Yes, Brazil. Friday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how you're opening up.
I hope week 2
but
is
the
against
problem
the
is
Bears.
with that, and I get it, the teams are making money and the league's making money. You have all this expansion internationally. The fan base is going crazy. It takes away from the real fan base. It takes away from that home game. You miss out on that home game if you're the home team there for the Packers or the Bucs or anybody else. I mean, I think
it's another point of greed, Pete.
Yep.
Because they're trying to expand to these markets. They're trying to expand into football markets. I mean, actual, soccer football markets. And that's exactly what they're doing. It's a shame.
Yep, it is. All right, let's go out to Vita again. I'm actually going to be at home with you to watch. Forget Black Friday shopping. Oh, I like her already. Wow, that's impressive. We had a woman on this show who is a football fan, who is pretty attractive, just say, I'm going to skip Black Friday shopping to watch football. I love that. That's great.
Hey, this is Greek loves the game too.
There you go. All right. So Recon Scout says, what won't Tom do for money? Basically get dragged. He'll do that. He'll get dragged for 3 hours. Heard Belichick dragged him. Drew Bledsoe dragged him. All the comedians did that. Jeremy says, I would have picked Eckler over Swift. Agree with that because you like Swift. You got him as your running back now, the starting running back over Eckler. Would you have gone with Eckler over Swift?
Eckler's got a lot of mileage on him. I like Swift because he's really good out of that backfield catching the ball. Man, that's with Khalil Herbert and the rest of the running backs that they have on this team. It's pretty stout.
Yeah. All right. So you're exactly right. Ralph says Chicago better do something or Matt Ever farts.
Will be fired.
Eberflus, thank you, Ralph.
Hi, Ralph. How are you, buddy?
We got to definitely get you back on here on Turnbuckle Talk. Christopher Cole says it was funny but raunchy. Okay, well, watch. Tim says I had hot dogs with ketchup on them for dinner. Tim, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, Tim. Tim on the side of putting ketchup on your hot dogs. That is always an open discussion here on the Evolution.
You're gonna get agita, heartburn.
I don't want any heartburn.
You're getting it now.
I eat it early, and I also take some meds because I went to Bay Area Modern Medical on care of the JP Peterson show. There you go. KJ Brett, he made the leap, or does he lose a camp out? KJ Brett's your starting running back. Good question there, Glenn. I know you asked it before.
Linebacker, you meant?
Yes, linebacker. What did I say? Linebacker.
Running back, but no, you said running back, but that's
okay. Linebacker KJ Brett. I think he definitely makes that next step. And even Todd Bowles talked about this a month and a half ago. Even though athletically he isn't as gifted as White, he's a man on the spot. He understands where he needs to be. And he definitely proved himself. And he could definitely hit somebody. Better tackler. We'll see what he does on coverage. But let's just point it out. This defense got a lot better with KJ Brett.
Oh, without question, they did. I give up. I'm not even going to. I'm not gonna try to move.
Go ahead and introduce this cat tonight. So.
This is Inky.
Inky again. Inky making a guest appearance here on the Evolution.
He's making a cameo here. This is Inky, but I do agree with that. But Kevin Britt, he's probably going to be your starting linebacker in this team.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go. KJ.
Right, Inky.
Kevin Britt. Kevin Britt is. All right. Tom says Padres open 727 Canes. I thought this was a Tampa Bay sports show. My bad. It is a Tampa Bay sports talk show.
But you know what else it is?
Right.
It's an all sports talk show.
Yes,
because
it is.
This is being viewed from not only across the state, all over the country, North America, and even occasionally across the pond.
Well, let's go out to Wisconsin. I believe, is this Tom Banner?
Bears.
I got two things to say. The Bears are the team to beat in the NFC.
Why is that? What's the realistic expectation, Mr. Tom Banner, not to be confused with Bruce Banner, the Hulk. What is the realistic expectation for the Bears this year? How many wins? Should they win a division outright? Should they just make the playoffs? What's the realistic expectation of the Bears this year, in your opinion?
In my opinion, have you seen the news on Justin Fields? Now he's going to be a freaking punt returner. For that.
Yes.
He was terrible. It's no good.
And they lost 6 ball games or 7. So I think it was 6 by 3 points or less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had the Lions destroyed. 3 minutes left. Bye-bye. It was this, but no, they're good. But this, the second question. Did Tom Brady really get paid $25 million for that roast?
Yes, $25 million. The Netflix deal, which was being reported, $25 million. That's what you got to. That's why everybody's like, well, Tom Brady didn't get that much money during his career, but he won all those championships. Guess what? He's a genius because of that. He's getting all that money back and more because why? He's Tom Brady with all those Super Bowl champions. 7 Super Bowls. It made sense, right?
Pete. Yeah. Your new nickname is Kardashian. Put it that way.
Oh, wow. Kardashian. They roasted her.
I seen it. It was hilarious. It was digging. It was deep. It was funny. Robert Kraft. It was good. It was. I mean, I've seen the highlights. I mean, they're funny, but $25 million. Come on.
Yeah, $25 million. That's
a little steep, huh, brother?
Netflix has all that money. They're giving all that money, which, by the way, I know you love this, Harry, to WWE starting in 2025 to do to broadcast Raw. So it's Monday Night Raw. It's going to be on Netflix. They're giving billions.
25 million
with a B, billions. They have all that money to do that. That top attraction. They're giving all that money to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Netflix is. That's why they're charging people $25, $28 a month.
That is ridiculous.
They are the ultimate pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely are. Yeah, they are. So.
Hey, Pete.
Yes.
Where are you gonna be when we come down there?
I'll be coming to meet you.
No, well, there's a condominium that won't sell on the Gulf of Mexico. We can go there.
He's got a condo down on Island Lake Estates on Clearwater Beach, an extraordinary place.
Wow.
And it's really, really nice. It's like
unfortunately.
It's unbelievable. But I'll tell you what, you got to go check it out. It's really cool. Hey, Banner, do you still have? Is there a grill on the balcony there or no?
No,
I didn't think so. I don't think you can have a grill there.
No, it's got to be about a pool. But
that's true.
What it is. But I will be reaching out to you. Hopefully, we'll bring the legend Tony Pellegrini.
Oh, hang on, Champagne Tony. I don't know if he can make an appearance with us.
It'd be cool. All right, guys, I'm out of here.
All right, thanks a lot, Tom.
Hey, man, thanks for tuning in.
I'm going to give him the Ric Flair because he was also in the news. I don't know if you saw this. I know we like to talk wrestling on this show, but he was basically thrown out of a Gainesville pizzeria because he was drunk. He definitely sounded like he was drunk, looked like he was drunk, but he was upset with the manager because he went to the bathroom and the manager was taking his sweet ass time because he was texting somebody. So Ric Flair called him out on it and he got thrown out. It's kind of embarrassing. It really is for Flair in his career. And lately the rumors, I love Ric Flair. He's tremendous. He's probably the greatest wrestler of all time. He's right up there with Hulk Hogan as the Mount Rushmore wrestlers. But lately the rumors have been he does a lot of partying and maybe he should stop for his own good. And this is one of those situations. I don't know if you've seen it or not. You don't care.
I heard about it, and I really don't care.
You don't care. All right, thank you. All right, let's go out to Vita here. She says, boo, Roger Goodell right there. We'll boo him again. We'll go on to yes.
Yes!
There you go. She wanted that. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Frankie G says, definitely get Clay, major inside presence to support Boncaro. Hated to see Cleveland knock Orlando out. And look, the Magic had every opportunity to win that series, but they could not win a road game. And that was the bugaboo for this team all year long. You're not being able to win on the road. That's what happens with a young team. They will get that much needed experience, which they got this year. They had a chance to win Game 5, but they were shut down there in the last couple of seconds, and then they blew an 18-point lead, which is inexcusable. But once again, a very young team. So Klay Thompson for Frankie G. That's what he says. LFG. Let's go out to Frankie again. Why? It's Tom Brady. He's always going to be a Tampa Bay Buc. I'm always going to play that, and I'm going to play this one too.
That's good enough to suck right there.
I like my sound effects. Don't you? Don't you
I
like?
love your sound effects. I'm over the Tom Brady ones. Oh,
you're not like this one.
Buccaneers. Go Bucs.
All right, definitely get Klay if you can, but
I did that pretty good.
You absolutely did need an Aton type of player. Hated to see Cleveland knock them out of the playoffs, but my Celtics will take Cleveland out on the way to the championship. I know you don't watch. Russ, thanks a lot for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's disgusting. What is disgusting? What is disgusting? What are you saying?
Probably something we catch up next.
Oh, God. You know.
Acknowledge me.
I love him.
I need Inky. Oh,
Inky's great.
Let's go out to KR. I just want the matches to get more shooters because Paulo is a young star and they're building a roster around him. Franz, so he's going to be interesting offseason for the Magic moving forward. You're exactly right. I mean, those are the two superstars that you're looking forward to when it comes to the Orlando Magic. I can't believe we're talking NBA on this show, but we are here on the Sports Web, and we'll talk it with you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 as the Tampa Bay Rays fall to the Chicago White Sox. So they meatloaf the series. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yes, I'm showing my age at this juncture. Christopher Cole says, yes. Yes, they are 2-4 this year. Thank you for reminding us.
Or you can say the White Sox are 4-2.
You know, and it's I don't know. It's versus the worst team in all the league.
It's just mind-blowing.
I can't even talk about it. Like I'm stuttering.
It's mind-blowing. And to think that 2 days ago we're talking about the team winning the division.
We're still talking about it. We're still going to talk about it. Let's see here, Vita. I don't know. It's the morals, etc. behind. I couldn't watch it. I cringe. My opinion. Me personally, no money could have my kids see that.
Comment
in the future
of the night.
It is that is definitely a good comment. I mean, that's the kind of problem with it, because when you're doing a roast, somebody is going to be offended. Even these days, no, do you want your kids to see it? Probably not. Kim Kardashian, do you want your kids to see it? No, probably not. But Kardashian's done a lot worse things in her career.
I'm going to bring another one on screen now.
Yes, go ahead. Please do.
This one looks just like Inky, except this is Turbo.
Turbo and Inky. Look at these guys.
Hey, Turbo. And here's Inky. Can
you do like a cat fight? Can you put them like
a cat fight? Peter. No chance, buddy. These are my babies, buddy. Humans are my least favorite animal. Right, Turbo? Oh, Peter, I'm on a pitch count tonight. I've got to feed the kids, and I got to go to bed.
Okay. All right. So, we'll get there. We go. So, I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi. You got to love that. So, we will get you.
I'm okay, ain't I?
You're okay. My Wi-Fi is going in and out again. So, I love
seeing that. Yes, I did see that. And here's a Turbo again. There you go.
There you go. Great stuff. All right. So, we will get you out of here on that. Anything else? Final thoughts here on a happy day edition of the Sports Web.
Final thoughts.
Yeah.
My conspiracy theory is not really far-fetched. I think the NFL is doing it because a lot of the owners are crying about the schedules. It's always about the money. I am absolutely thrilled that the Green Bay Packers are going to be opening up in Brazil. I think it's great. They should just stay down there in Brazil. NBA is exactly what it is. You lost me as a fan back in 2005 when you decided you weren't going to play defense anymore. Buddy, I love everybody. You can catch me here live Monday and Wednesday nights live on the Sports Web. And we're going to start giving out some picks real soon. And who knows, the resurrection of the over-under with Harry the Greek might be coming back. And I'll tell you what, you might want to stay tuned next week because I'm going to give you the winner of the Preakness, which is the second leg of the Triple Crown. I'm Harry the Greek. Keep your bets low and your returns high. Have a good night, Pete.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I know you're on a pitch count, but really quick, any picks out there? I mean, how do you think the Rays do against the Yankees coming into this series? Can they win?
They take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees this week.
2 out of 3. So Friday, I should be good when I take my mom for her birthday / Mother's Day present at Tropicana against the Yankees. We should be good with that win, right?
I would have to say so. Okay. I do like that first game of the series. Okay. Let me tell you something. New York's playing really well. They are definitely the team to beat in this division, but Tampa just owns them, buddy. They just do.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just like the White Sox own the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, well, that this year, yes, it's thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that.
This sucks.
I just had to throw that out there, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate
Seriously, Peter, have a really good night, man. Thanks a lot for having me on. Seriously, tune in. Don't get off. But you got to do turnbuckle talk soon.
Yeah, we're doing turnbuckle talk. We'll talk more about the Ric Flair situation with Mark, and we'll also kind of delve into some of the news here. Once again, Netflix showing their power, or excuse me, NBC showing their power, as they are going to pay $25 million to broadcast Raw until the new Netflix deal starts in 2025. True story. $25 million. What would you do with $25 million? That's what I want to know.
It's a pay cut.
It's a pay cut.
I'll talk to you later, guys.
Get the hell out of here. All right. He's out of here. All right. We'll read the rest of these comments. We'll get out to turnbuckle talk here with former XPW announcer, Mr. Mark Mancini. Let's go out to KR here. So, guys, who is your NBA GOAT, MJ or LeBron? I heard Kendrick Perkins say he thinks Bron should retire. He's hurting his legacy. I have to agree in that opinion. In my opinion, yeah, I mean, MJ will always be the GOAT, in my opinion. I get it. I understand that everybody in this era wants LeBron to be the GOAT because he's played for so long, 21 years, and he's 40 years old, and he's played with multiple teams and taking them to championships, and he's won 4 NBA championships. But nah, it's always going to be Michael Jordan. He took over the game. He never got to a game 7. You go 6-0. Just it's I don't know what you could say, man. Air Jordan. I mean, he's Air Jordan. That's it. He's the greatest of all time, not only offensively but defensively. The physicality. When he got beat down by the Pistons, he was able to overcome that. Like, he didn't have a perfect career. Nobody ever said he had a perfect career, not by a long shot. He didn't. But that's the thing you got to love about him. That's one of the things that I've always gone back with James, is when he got beat down by Boston at the time, which was a strong team, had strong players. I get it, super team. What did he decide to do? Make his team better with Cleveland? No. He went to Miami. Was that the right decision for him at the time? Yeah, of course. Dwayne Wade, Hall of Famer, Chris Bosh, all kinds of players, role players helping you out. Absolutely. If you don't have Ray Allen or Mike Miller at the time, you may win only 1 championship. People forget that. It's true. But did he make the right decision at that point? Yes. Did he come back and win a championship for the Cavaliers, being down 3-1 to supposedly the greatest team of all time during the regular season at 73-9, the Golden State Warriors? He did. It doesn't make him the greatest of all time. Too many losses in his career. You don't always see the killer instinct like you see from Jordan. I mean, there's so many things we could talk about. So, yeah, MJ is the greatest of all time, in my opinion. What do you think of our OC saying Godwin going back to the slot? He should go back to the slot. He should have been in the slot last year. I mean, you could see when this guy is at his natural position how better this offense is. You could see it. You could also see when the Bucs put him in the slot later on in the year, how the offense went through him. When those comments came out from Miss Godwin, remember? We were talking about it, laughing about it, and saying, you know what? Guess what? She was kind of on the money, whether it was through Godwin or not. There was frustration there. What happened when they started to get Godwin more involved, to play at his natural position? Then that offense took off. What's so hard about that? And I understand why the Bucs did it, or maybe why the offensive coordinator did it, so you can save him from injury. but it's not necessarily the right move. Definitely not the right move for your team. So you definitely got to be excited about the prospect of Chris Godwin going back to the slot. Could have a big year. Look at what Cooper Kupp did in that offense. Maybe that's the same with Chris Godwin. Just saying. By the way, if you didn't know this, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, so I'll throw this out there, and you guys can get on the phone lines, of course, and talk about this. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Happy 10th anniversary because your Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafted Mike Evans today. So what is your best Mike Evans memory? Is it is there a single memory out there for you? Is it, the 1,000-yard seasons? What is it? What is your single memory of Mike Evans? Where were you when he was drafted? What did you think about the pick at the time? I can tell you that I was told on authority that the Bucs at the time were going to pick the quarterback out of Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel. I was not true on board with the Mike Evans pick. In fact, one of my friends will tell you I wanted the quarterback. And thank God I'm not the general manager at the time. Of course, that's Jason Light. That's his very first round pick. Not too bad. Worked out pretty well. Consistent force. One of the best wide receivers of his era. Just saying. Definitely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but 10 years. Wasn't sure about it. It was a home run pick. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Hey there, Jeremy. What's up, brother?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Good. I mean, a little disappointed. We have to wait another week for the schedule release, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. And I was looking forward to going maybe another day here on Thursday night with the schedule being released. And you know what? The NFL said, nah, not so fast, my friend. How about next Wednesday, which will really work out?
Well, I'll be on my youngest birthday, so I'll be turning 3 on the 15th. So,
wow. Okay,
yes.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's a future Buck. I raised her to be a huge Bucs fan, Tampa Bay fan, and if you ever met her, Peter, she is a Bucs fan. I trained her.
Well, that's good. You got to corrupt them when they're young. We always talk about that on this show. It's exactly what my dad did to me when I was 8 years old. He sat me down and said, look, you're going to be a Bucs fan. You're going to pick a team. It's going to be Florida State. You're going to like all your Tampa Bay sports teams, and if you don't, get out of the house. That's how it went.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Yes.
But you know what, Peter, though? At least you have a dad. Good for him that he raised it that way.
Yes.
And I want Bud to have uncles, family, and the rest would be a Gator fan. So you and I would talk about that another time.
Yes.
But,
well, let's talk about that now. How does that work out? How does that family dynamic work? Because I got the same thing going on in my family, with some part of it being also Gator fans.
Once upon a time, it was good to be a Florida Gator. Right now, we're going through a tough session right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm not giving up on them. I think they will improve from last couple of seasons under Billy Napier.
Sure.
You got to give a program a chance to build the recruits, transfers, get your team going. As a Florida State fan, you know how that feels. You know how that goes. So.
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, you brought up the whole Mike Evans being drafted as a Buck. I just wanted to share that with everybody watching it. I was at the watch party that year when Mike got drafted, and straight up, because I've been a Mike Evans fan as long as you know me, and if you other fans know me, I love Mike Evans.
Right.
He was my pick from that year in 2014. I'm glad we took him. But almost, I say about 50% of the fans wanted Johnny Manziel.
Mm-hmm.
One of my best friends growing up, he wanted Johnny Manziel. And I still got the video from the moment we drafted Mike Evans and look on his face with his head over his head, like, oh my God, we just got Mike Evans. I was ecstatic. I knew this man was going to be great. At least the first 4 or 5 years.
So you expected him to be great right away. You thought that was a good, because at the time they got Vincent Jackson, and you're thinking, well, why did they go wide receiver? And of course they lost Mike Williams, the late great Mike Williams there, who kind of tailed off, had some issues off the field, who they traded to Buffalo. So a lot of people said, well, slam dunk, you go after Mike Evans, and what he did for Manziel and the kind of catches, and you can't guard size 6'5", 6'6". And my question was, could he get separation? And I think all of our questions that year and the years going forward were answered. He could definitely get separation. He had deceptive speed, could make lots of catches, although he drives a lot of Bucs fans crazy sometimes with some drops. But overall, consistency, to have 1,000-yard receiving seasons with different quarterbacks and not even a great quarterback, to me, makes him already a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Just saying.
No, absolutely. He's first ballot, even though he only won one Super Bowl so far.
Yeah.
Keyword so far for Bucs fans going to, their little feelings about what I'm saying. So to me, as a fan of his, he's my favorite Buc player since Mike Allstott. This man has not only got drafted, but he exceeded expectations because Peter, you and I both know the Bucs fan.
Sure.
Probably 40% of the Bucs fans probably doubted him. Like, we took a wide receiver. We got Mr. Jackson.
Yep.
And R.I.P. to Mike Williams, because to me, I feel like he was a good receiver. Just didn't have the right coaching in his system. That's just my opinion on that one. But back to Mike Evans. This man has not only done great on the field, but off the field. If he's in off the field in the community.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If you look at that, to me, Jason Light has done a pretty damn good job drafting certain players. I'm not saying he's the best, but to me, as I mentioned in the group chat for Buccaneers that I co-host with, I said he's becoming an elite. He's not drafting morons. He's drafting players that really want to play the game of football, work with the team, practice with the team. I mean, if you watch OTAs, voluntary, right? Voluntary. And you got Baker Mayfield and Tristan Wirfs. And mind you, Tristan Wirfs hasn't been paid yet. And he's still going out there and practicing. So how can you not like the picks that Jason Light has made the last few years? Yeah, he's had some misses. We can all talk about that as Bucs fans. But recently, at least since 2019 or 18, if you ask me, he's drafted players that turned to be role great players.
Yep.
Maybe not a pro, but I threw this out there and saw White did retweeted my tweet or liked it at least.
There you go.
To me, he will be an all-pro running back because I feel like with Liam Cohen taking over, he's going to become the running back that at least 40 to 50% of us Bucs fans can put out there that this guy's going to be good when he's a starter. But anyway, but back to Mike Evans because that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mike Evans hasn't lost a step. He's battled injuries like a true player. Remember, back in 2020, when he broke the record, tied the record with Randy Moss in 2020.
That's his hero, by the way.
Huh?
That was his hero growing up, his hero player.
No, and he was. But look what happened.
Right.
If we 17 or 18, no, 17, I'm sorry, 17. In week 17, he broke the record and then he got hurt. But what did he do? He went out for precautions that game. The next game, he balled out. He became every bit of receiver we thought he was going to be. And you can say AB, helped out in the Super Bowl. F all that. Because AB, thank you for helping us win a Super Bowl. But you would never be the player that Mike Evans is going to be and retire as. Because this man wants to win championships. And he'll take pay cuts. He'll up his salary in order to help open up cap space. I mean, Peter, you already know. You know the kind of player Mike Evans really is to this team. He's probably, I would agree with Scott Reynolds from Peter Report, shout to them. He's probably the best offensive player we've ever had on offense.
Could he be the greatest? And I mentioned this before. Could he be the greatest Buccaneer of all time? Just because of what you just said, taking the pay cuts. I shouldn't say pay cuts. I should say restructuring. But he could have took more money. He could have went to the Kansas City Chiefs this year or other teams to try to go and win a championship. And instead he stayed with Tampa. He stayed the course. The consistency factor with different quarterbacks, never having that elite quarterback until Brady, and then winning a Super Bowl, and what he does in the community. That's why I brought this up a couple of months ago. Could he be the greatest Tampa Bay Buccaneer of all time? Not saying a lot, because a lot of people would say, Derek Brooks, Leroy Selman. I definitely think there could be a conversation that could be had that Evans could be the greatest Buccaneer of all time, simply because of all the points that you made there. But you're exactly right, and we'll see what he does this year, because it certainly seems like Evans is still playing in the prime. Anything else here, Jeremy? Because we got to get out to turnbuckle talk.
Oh, turnbuckle talk, even better.
Yeah.
But back to Mike Evans. That's what there's out there. He's the ultimate player you want on your team. And the word of Jason Light. Late drafted him. It was his very first pick, and they've been a family ever since then. If you watch the Mike Evans, you're watching the current, if you're a real Bucs fan out there watching the show right now, he praised a lot about Jason Light. And that's why, going back to Jason Light, to me, he's becoming an elite as a general manager. Even one Super Bowl win, that's fine. You get the Chiefs their flowers, whatever. But at the end of the day, as a Bucs fan, we have so much bad luck on general managers, losing players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you already know the scoop, Peter. But long story short, I feel like this is going to be a year where fans are going to be entertained. I'm not saying Super Bowl win, but I definitely feel that they're going to win a lot more games than what these experts from NFL Network, ESPN think we're going to win 9 to 10 games, whatever. I don't care. We're the underdog. We play better as an underdog. And Mike Evans, to me, is probably one of the best Bucs players on the roster. And I say that because in 2002, I was 12 when they won the first Super Bowl. I was a big fan of Mike Allstott. He's always been one of my top guys, along with Sapp, Brooks, Lynch. You know the whole scenario.
Sure.
But as far as Mike Evans go, you were absolutely right. He could be the best Bucs player ever, depending how we do this season. But to turnbuckle talk.
Yeah. You want to save that call? Because let me, I'll tell you what, save your call back. Yeah. We're going to introduce Turnbuckle Talk with the former XPW announcer, Mark Mancini. Looking forward to hearing your wrestling thoughts, my friend. All right.
Fair enough. Thank you, Peter. God bless.
God bless you too. Absolutely. Because I know he wants to talk about Turnbuckle Talk and what's going on right now in WWE, AEW. We'll read the rest of these comments and then we'll get out to Mr. Mark Mancini here. So MJ, greatest of all time, says Roger. Absolutely. Frankie, human fights only, Frank or Tank. My money's on Tank. Second that, Roger. Later, Harry. MJ says Recon. KR, agree, Peter. MJ is the GOAT. Recon again. What race players are on the trading block? Siri, although he made a good catch tonight, he could be on the trading block. What's his value? With all the players that the Rays are getting back, maybe he is. I like the Coach Cohen said in his press conference, dude is very smart. I hope he can stay and maybe be the head coach and waiting if there's a possibility is there. We'll see about that. MK13, another Buccaneer man on and off the field. He is special, deserves all his praise and flowers. Great stuff. Open phone lines if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, your Tampa Bay Rays, as they fall to the Chicago White Sox tonight, 5-1. Again, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll talk about that. 4-1. I knew I was wrong. I don't know why I'm thinking 5-1. 4-1 as they fall to the White Sox. And for the year, 2-4 versus one of the worst Major League Baseball teams in the league.
This guy sucks.
Not good. This guy doesn't suck. Former XPW announcer, Mancini Media, XM Sirius Radio. Mark Mancini, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television as we get ready to talk Turnbuckle Talk here, WWE, AEW action. I mean, where do we start? I think we should start. Yes.
Well, where we should start is this show is the number one show sweeping the country on Wednesday. That's where we should start with you,
Thank
brother.
You. Appreciate
it. Then we should start with Harry Berg and his beloved Chicago White Sox. How horrendous is that? That is the worst team maybe in Major League Baseball as you scratch your head.
The Rays 4 times.
Oh, my God, the White Sox. Boy, how the mighty have fallen off a cliff. They haven't won a World Series, I think, since 2005 when they beat the Houston Astros. Is Harry still around now? Is he popping in and out? Because man,
no, he went to bed. Past his bedtime.
This roast could be better than the Tom Brady one that was on Sunday in Inglewood.
What did you think of that? Did you watch that? Because I'm gonna watch that after this. In fact, I may end the show a little bit early, so because I heard it's like 3 hours on Netflix. Which, by the way, Brady got paid $25 million to do that.
Here comes the money.
So what did you think of the roast?
Money in the Bank, right? That's where they got the title there. But yeah, I saw a little bit of it. But why is Netflix trying to cover up the Kardashian booze? What the hell is with that? What this lady's like Rosie O'Donnell. You just need to go away and let somebody else get a little spotlight for 10 minutes. Why are we seeing these people that just keep popping up every now and then? They've already had their 15-minute car chase around town. Move over so somebody else can grab it.
He's definitely a part of a lot of car chases. I don't know why they censored the booing because we do that on this show. And Kara,
hey, listen, I love the women, man, but there's more makeup. It'd take me 3 chisels to take off that makeup on Kim Kardashian.
Oh my gosh, you're killing her tonight. We got to definitely do the boo thing because Vita said to do it, so we'll do it again. We don't cover up those boos. So you did like the roast there. Who stood out for you? Who's the person that stood out for you in the roast? And we'll get to more wrestling talk here.
Well, I think Hart did. Hart was good. I mean, I like Hart. I mean,
you like Kevin Hart?
Yeah. You know, but to make that kind of money for that, I think Brady's deserved it. You know, all those Super Bowls and everybody's talking about Mahomes and all that. Man, what the hell's going on in Kansas City with their wide receiver? He can't seem to stay out of the press either. Rashee Rice. What's the deal there?
Yeah, well, the deal is he's about to serve some jail time here, and the Chiefs addressed that need in the draft with getting the guy out of Texas who looks like he could be the next Tyreek Hill. With that being said, let's talk about go ahead.
Well, I would tell you, you know, and I didn't get a chance to talk the draft with you. I'm putting no stock in May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. These guys are flashes in the plan. I love the kid out of that Washington selected Daniels. And if Williams can not go Hollywood on us, maybe they'll block for him in Chicago can absolutely do something this year.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct about that. And I talked about, you know, the realistic expectations for Chicago Bear fans. What are the expectations for Pittsburgh Steelers fans with Russell Wilson at the controls and Justin Fields as a backup now, possibly returning punts?
Yeah, I like that. Hey, they're building something in Pittsburgh. We got rid of 3 quarterbacks that couldn't throw 5 touchdowns. So we sent them all in different cities. But I will tell you, if that rumor holds true, Najee Harris going to Dallas, CeeDee Lamb coming to Pittsburgh and another pick, I kind of like that. If that goes
that's a terrible trade if that happens. And by the way, disclaimer out there, this is one of the worst handicappers.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you got that from. Where is that from? Or did you just make that up?
A buddy of mine in Pittsburgh sent me that one.
Yeah, you're a buddy. I think your buddy is you look at in the mirror every day.
Pittsburgh, there's some good contacts in Pittsburgh, man. They could prop them every now and then and stump. I like what you picked up in Tampa, but still can't figure out what the Falcons did, man. You got Cousins there, and you bring in Michael Penix Jr. You might want to shore up a little more of your line, man.
Yeah. All right, so let's go out to Christopher Cole here. I still haven't heard why Ric Flair wasn't at the draft, but we have an idea now. That was the thing. A lot of Bucs fans expected him to come out and announce third round selections, and he didn't announce it at all. We saw William Golston, which was wasn't disappointing, but it was disappointing not to see Flair. Woo! And of course, he is in the news right now. I mean, you saw that situation. It was. I definitely don't think it was somewhat embarrassing. It was definitely embarrassing. What's your thoughts on that? Him getting kicked out of the pizzeria there in Gainesville.
Was it the pepperoni or the mushrooms on the pizza?
No idea what it was. No idea. It was probably.
Come on, man. I mean, you've done so much for wrestling. You're a household name. Really, in a pizza place.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing worse than this is maybe a Stop and Go or a 7-Eleven. but I mean, a pizza place. I mean, are we sucking down Bud Lights by the pitchers in these places and getting into these type of things? I just don't understand it.
He needed to be cut off because when you watch it, he's slurring. He called the guy a dip. Yeah. All right. I'm going to get out to the phone lines here because we're talking Turnbuckle Talk with the madman himself, Mark Mancini. Let's go out to Jeremy. Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk here on the Evolution.
Hey, I couldn't help but hearing how the Ric Flair situation went down.
Right.
So the whole day I wanted to mention to you, Peter.
Yes.
So supposedly the server, the young guy he got into it with, was going to the bathroom and try to get a picture of Ric Flair in the bathroom or try to hop in front of Ric Flair in the bathroom, whatever.
Well, I heard it was because Flair was waiting too long because the guy in the bathroom who was the manager at the time was texting instead of taking care of his business.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah. No,
it should happen.
It's called the young kid syndrome.
It's called taking care of your business. That's what it's called. Go take care of your business in the bathroom.
And you can't blame a guy like Ric Flair for that. You know what I mean? I mean, he's Ric fucking Flair. Like, if you're fucking in the bathroom taking a shit, whatever, if you're texting and then you're going to talk shit to Ric Flair, running your mouth, and the man you tries to come hop in, I'm like, are you out of your mind? Why would you talk that way to Ric Flair?
Well, the guy next to him wanted him too. He's like, I'll go outside. I don't know if he was drunk or not, but he's like, I'll go outside with him. I'm like, are you going to really go outside with Ric Flair? I mean, Ric Flair's kind of crazy, but then again, he's up there in age now, guys. I mean, he's not the same guy. I know he's partying and doing that, and that's been the rumor throughout the last couple of months.
I have to cut you off, though, on that. He does work out, and it's not like he doesn't party all the time. There have been videos, keyword videos, from fans to walk the rail with this.
So I'm trying to figure this out. It sounds like you were there, Brian.
Well, no, this is Jeremy. Jeremy.
It was. I wonder if the dishwasher and the busboy were in this fatal four-way.
Well, they definitely took some video of it and put it on TikTok. I mean, when you first seen the video, were you a little bit embarrassed? I understand why Flair did what he did, but then again, he looks kind of like drunk. Were you embarrassed by this video, being a wrestling fan?
Oh, is this me or Mark? Yeah.
Oh, Jeremy, I'm asking you.
No, Peter. No, to me, I feel like there are going to be some words. He's probably going to wake up tomorrow morning and realize, oh, I made a mistake. But you can't blame the man for how he felt, though. You know what I mean? And Ric Flair's defense, I will say this, because I work in the medical field. I run into all kind of famous people, between Bucs players and other famous people. And you got to be professional. And I feel like the young man, the server, whatever he got into it with, went kind of out of line with him, getting the manager involved and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because we all know who Ric Flair is. As real wrestling fans, we know who he is. And we know that, he likes to party. And mind you, I met Ric Flair almost a year ago at the liquor store at my house. I was waiting in line to meet Mark Wahlberg. And he just doesn't seem that type of guy that's a butthole. From what this TikTok is making him seem like he's an a-hole, who's out of line. But if you put yourself in his shoes for his defense, you're trying to go to the bathroom and you're waiting a long time, and this man's texting, and he sees it physically. It's obvious because Ric Flair, maybe he might be drunk, whatever, but if he sees that, I can't be mad at the man like that. I mean, let's not forget, Ric Flair did overcome a coma back in 2018?
Yes, and he had a heart attack his last match versus Jeff Jarrett with his son-in-law Andrade when they both wrestled Jay Lethal. And Russ makes this point: old school wrestlers used to always get into fights. Yeah, very true. But the problem is, Russ and everybody else, and what you're watching right now is Turnbuckle Talk on the Sports Web. Thanks a lot, Russ, for tuning in. Social media is out there, and it's just, I don't know, it's such a bad optic, and we know Flair and what he did in wrestling is amazing, but also we know off the mat some of the things.
Well, and not only that, let me defend some of the wrestlers too, Peter and Jeremy. These guys go out and, I don't want to knock the establishments to a certain extent, But some of these people have seen these guys on TV, and then they figure, okay, I'm the next version of the honky tonk man, or Rick Rude, God rest his soul. So this is what ends up happening. Yeah. Now you've had a few, Bud Lights in your system, and now you're ready to rumble in the bathroom, and here come the pizza police to try to break it up.
The pizza police. I've heard it. I've heard it all. Rusco's Bruiser. That guy got into a fight everywhere. I mean, my guy there, Harry the Greek, he always says when we talk wrestling, Dick the Bruiser, Dick the Bruiser, Dick the Bruiser. He's right. Yeah, Mark, you're absolutely right. I mean, I look at it from both ways, but yeah. I don't know. It's not a good optic at this point. And you kind of wonder if AEW, because of the social media backlash, will eventually, like WWE, just say, we've had enough of you, Flair, on the mat, what you bring to the wrestling organization is invaluable, but off of it, it's too much of a distraction. I don't know. I'm just saying, let's go out to MH here. Injury lawsuits have hurt the athletic industry more than anything else. Absolutely. I mean, you look at the rules in NFL football. That's the reason why you have all those safety issues, because the NFL was scared at the time of getting those injury lawsuits. What else, Jeremy?
No, I'm saying about the Ric Flair. I mean, I feel like it was a simple, Flair had a few drinks. I'll go in and say that because he knows how to party, and maybe the server, did take his time, whatever. I mean, it could be handled a lot better. I feel like whatever place he was at, he was in Gainesville, correct?
Correct. Gainesville, yes.
Yeah, Gainesville, is what it is. Probably won't see him there again because he's living the good life.
My buddy's texting me. He said, "What color uniforms do the pizza police wear?"
I don't know what they
said marinara.
Marinara all over them right now. Yes.
But on a serious note, though, Peter, just want to about talk. I want to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
How do you feel about this whole bloodline situation? Separating. Do you feel The Rock is going to come back at SummerSlam?
Yes. Yes.
Do you feel like Roman Reigns is going to come at the same time as The Rock, and then they have a little feud saying, "Hey, I'm the former champion. I don't care what lesson you are. I'm the tribal chief." And then it turns into like a big chaos to where Roman screws The Rock at SummerSlam, and then they battle each other at WrestleMania. What do you think, Mark?
I completely agree with you, Mark. I mean, you have to say this right now. The bloodline, that whole storyline hasn't ended. Although the Usos are out of it, you have Jimmy being thrown out of it. You're adding new guys to it every week here. It looks like Solo.
First of all, let me step in on that one because
sure, go for it.
I like Sola Sikoa. But if since we're on the restaurant run, might as well just keep continuing that. Sola Sikoa leading the bloodline reminds me of a dishwasher trying to run a kitchen staff.
Oh,
come on, man.
Oh, wow.
Come on, man.
Listen, he's not the guy that's running it. He's speaking for somebody else. Do you know who he's speaking for? The final boss, Dwayne Johnson. And Jeremy is absolutely correct about this. This is exactly what they're going to do. The boss will come back. It's going to be Rhodes versus The Rock at SummerSlam, I believe. And then eventually it will be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. One side of the bloodline and the other bloodline there, Civil War. And most likely Roman Reigns is going to be the face of this. It's not going to be The Rock. The Rock is going to be heel because he's so great at it right now, being the final boss. And it's going to be Roman versus The Rock, Roman turning face.
Wow. So
it's going to be,
yeah, that's going to Diarrhea Dwayne. Is that what his name will be? In the
that's what Seth Rollins said, which, by the way, I don't necessarily think that was the best insult. They could have come up with something else. Jeremy, thanks a lot for the call, man. Appreciate you as always, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
He's
good
a good
stuff
man,
there.
Jeremy.
Yes, he is. 2 calls tonight. Open phone lines if you want to talk about the final boss there in The Rock, the bloodline storyline. What did you think of WrestleMania 40? I thought it was tremendous. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 as we are talking Turnbuckle Talk right now. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the madman himself, former XPW announcer, Mr. Mark Mancini. Now, there was some controversy. We didn't get a chance to get into this last week. Kind of held off on it. But there's a report out there from the Wrap, which it may be a wrap if this report isn't correct, that the People's Champ turned up 3 hours late ahead of the Clash, which would be WrestleMania 40, having, they claimed, already been 2 hours late for the fan convention held by WWE prior to WrestleMania. Though the latter has been put down to traffic issues and prior commitments. Now, of course, WWE came out and defended him, saying that he showed up as much as 8 hours late. This report also says on the set to the red one, ballooning to a $50 million payment for that movie. He showed up as much as 8 hours late to the set on a movie. And of course, a spokesman for Amazon MGM stated Dwayne Johnson and $7 production crew have been incredible partners on Red One, which is a new movie, a film that audiences of all ages are going to love this holiday season. And then with that also being said, WWE's Executive VP of Talent Relations and Head of Communications, Chris Legental, Dwayne was not only on time for WrestleMania, he was hours early to help with rehearsal and a pleasure to work with throughout the entire run. So what do we make of this? I mean, I think a lot of people kind of just taking shots at The Rock. They're leaking stuff because they don't like this final boss character, which, by the way, he's done a hell of a job as a heel. But guess what, guys? This is not his real personality. This is a wrestling personality. It's been played perfectly. I get it. He's a board member on TKO and he's a part of WWE now, but he's really not like this. Why are they spreading rumors like this about Johnson? Or do you kind of believe? Have you ever met Dwayne Johnson or dealt with anybody in the wrestling business that ever had any relationship with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock?
Well, first of all, it would be none of my business. Second of all, I mean, jealousy is human nature.
Right.
And I think, what he does is he's a giver. I mean, I think this is the kind of guy that if you were down and out, you couldn't pay your rent, and you walked up to him and said, I'm having a hard time, he'd just write you a check and pay your rent, or maybe pay your rent for 3 months. Who knows? He just seems like that type of guy. And I think people taking shots, these are the same people that take shots at baseball players saying they make too much money. But I always tell them, if you're that good, go to Dick's Sporting Goods, pick up a bat, ball, load the family up in the country squire, head to Florida, Arizona, and see if you can hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I'll give you $1 million. So it's just, misery likes company. And these, I don't want to knock the 8-to-5 guy, but usually all these cases come from these type of groups that kind of, are struggling and wish they had this and bitch and moan and complain and, oh, poor me and why this, lace up your bootstraps, sacrifice and get up. And, somewhere along the line, you'll get noticed by somebody and maybe that's it.
Yeah. All right.
Let me just say this. I've been blessed enough the last few days to go back and forth with Steve Cohen, the New York Mets owner. And you know what? That's a blessed thing to do, to go back and forth with him. I am so blessed and I'm thankful, and meeting a lot of people in your life and to go back and forth. It reminded me of John Moores when he owned the San Diego Padres and came in a rinky-dink college station when he bought the team and sat down with me for an hour. So
nice.
That's the things, kind of like what happened with you with Paul and stuff. And it's unbelievable. People will always take shots because they want something that was given to you because they don't have the balls to stand up and, ask for it in a polite way. It's gimme, gimme, gimme.
Good stuff. Let me go out to Russ here. I knew him when he was a skinny kid. He was a nice guy. Yeah. He certainly seems like a nice guy. Could he have a big ego? Yeah, he probably could because he deserves to have a big ego because he's accomplished so much, but he just doesn't come off as that. I don't know. But it's a lot of rumor right now, and it kind of takes away, in my opinion, from the greatness of him and what he's done the last month and a half, because The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, the final boss, whatever you want to call him, that is what wrestling needs.
Well,
that they needed that. They needed that storyline to end like it did. But playing a heel, I've never seen this side of The Rock. I want to see more of this. And I'm hoping, the disappointing thing is, even though he's on the board of directors for WWE and TKO, You like to see more of this.
Well, not only that, Peter,
Right.
the flip side of this is not like the movies and you pay $17 and you walk out of there and you go, well, that was a crap movie. We don't need to see it again. The wrestling industry is quite different than a lot of things is because, you know, people try to put themselves in a position when you go in there and you piss the crowd off or you stand there and talk to these people in some of these small towns. You know, you get showered with beer and stuff, and you got to get out of there. You got to get on the bus and get out of there because some of these people take it up a level on you. They want to stand there and fight you, and, you know, it's kendo sticks outside in the parking lot. So I can understand, you know, what The Rock is going through. People try to take shots and knock him, and, you know, and because they want to be in a position to challenge him, thinking that the other guy he beat up, well, I'm more powerful if I bring 3 guys from the stands that have sucked down all these beers. We'll take care of you in the parking lot.
Yep, it's a good point. Let's go back to WrestleMania because we got a chance to touch upon it a little bit. But were you surprised that it was The Undertaker who came out because it was hinted and teased that it was going to be Stone Cold? Recent reports suggest that, you know, WWE financially couldn't come to some type of compensation for Austin. To me, if Austin comes out, I love The Undertaker being a part of it. It makes sense. But then again, if Austin comes out, glass shatters, the lights go out and he comes out, to me, that's more of an important moment than The Undertaker, even though it made sense. It would have been a lot better with Austin. How do you not come to some financial agreement with Stone Cold Steve Austin? What was
I don't know either. There's a lot of money that the WWE has. Take care of the people that have taken care of you. They've made you what you are today. You can't go on the cheap on some of these people. And I guess that's what the problem is. I think with you know, Triple H now running it, we're going to get some kind of sensibility of where this thing's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a guy that really, you know, looks out for everybody. Time will tell, but, you know, that's the thing. You know, in any business, the 3 things that I look for, Peter, I'm sure you look for the same thing, is accountability, communication, and honesty.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, I don't know if I want to work for you.
Makes lots of sense, man. It really does. Let's shift gears and go to AEW. Bill Goldberg was in the news as he was calling AEW too cheesy for him to go there. Of course, Tony Khan comes out, which, what do you think of this guy? Because I try to like him, and then he calls WWE the Weinsteins, and he shows up at the NFL draft with a neck brace, and he's in the storylines now. And it's almost like he's becoming a splitting image of Vince McMahon, that Vince McMahon character. He doesn't have the charisma for it like McMahon did. What do you think of Khan, first and foremost, from AEW?
Well, he's got a lot of money.
I mean, right. That's not always a good thing. That's not always a good thing. Right.
Yeah, when you have a lot of money, sometimes you don't know what to do with it. It burns holes through you because you're going to keep getting more of it. But I don't know. I think he's trying to give McMahon a run for his money on the other side. I mean, this is what you need for competition. I kind of liked him, you know. I like, you know, the whole thing with his dad over there on the other side with the Jaguars and everything. So I kind of like this whole scenario. I mean, these guys have put a lot of money in Florida and stuff, and you know, I kind of like what they're going. They're not cheap.
No,
they're not cheap. It might be cheesy, but they're not cheap. They'll pay you for what you want and what you're worth. There's nothing wrong with that. If somebody starts bad-mouthing the Khans to a certain extent, I mean, they'll give you what they want, not like McMahon, you know, in some ways.
Well, McMahon is a cancer for the business later on in his career with all the allegations. And, of course, we're just not going to get into that. We've been into that. He had to leave. Yeah. Should have retired after 55 years of service. He built the business. He'll be appreciated for that, but everything else will overshadow all his accomplishments with WWE. With that being said, Khan came out and denied it. And in fact, he said to Josh Martinez, I guess that's a podcast, that Goldberg at one point at least actually wanted to work with AEW. Bill wanted to work here. I met with Bill several times. Bill was looking to work here. So I don't know what. You know, it's funny because I had a bunch of nice meetings with Bill and would have honestly been interested in doing something. So since you brought it up, I have a lot of respect for Bill, but I was surprised by that because certainly that wasn't what he said to me when he was talking to me about maybe working here at some point. which I'm always open to. Khan admitted that he thinks the world of Goldberg. Of course he does. He's always been good interactions with him wherever they spoke, so he's caught off guard by those comments.
I don't know why, and I've had conversations with Bill Goldberg, great guy, and he's the brother-in-law to the guy I work with.
He seems like he's very upset right now because Vince McMahon promised him a retirement match and he didn't get what he wanted. So he's been very bitter. He's been very bitter to the business. It's almost becoming like Bret Hart. Bret Hart very bitter to the business because Goldberg ended his career with a
well, sometimes, in moving this over to basketball terms, I don't know if the spat between Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley. Jimmy Butler wants an extension and, saying if I was healthy, I could take out the Knicks and all this. And Riley says you're taking cheap shots at teams that are still playing and you're not playing. And you got to get better.
Said, if you're not playing, shut up. And
yeah, exactly.
Riley was right.
It's okay to open your mouth.
Right.
But when the team you're complaining about is still playing and you're home, you're crying over sour grapes. And I like Jimmy Butler a lot, and I love him too. Riley.
Best ability is availability, and he hasn't had that the last couple of years. That's a disappointing thing with Butler because we know that he's able to have that ability, if you will, to lead the Miami Heat to the finals and put a team on his back. But he can't stay healthy. What are you making those comments for? And you're trying to get wait. So you're working for an extension. You're working for somebody. I really love it here, but guess what? I'm going to talk bad about my team. You think that anybody's going to give you some type of contract? Like, go pound sand. Get the hell out of here.
Let me tell you, Pat Riley, I've never interviewed him. He's one of the guys that I've always tried to interview. He's 79 years old, and I've always liked his style. He kind of reminds me of Jimmy Leland.
Mm-hmm.
And he will be the voice of an organization to a certain extent. And he'll challenge these top stars rather than some of these teams that, kind of cave into these guys. And that's what you need. I'm not saying, be high and mighty and come over here and tell these guys what to do left and right. But if you want to get paid and you get paid handsomely to come down to South Florida, then shut your mouth and play. And if you're injured, don't take shots at the New York Knicks and some of these teams that are still playing. You're home. Yeah. You're home watching them. So there's the case. And it kind of reminded me of almost like, and I like these guys too, Jimmy Leland and Barry Bonds, when Barry went off and didn't want to take a picture in, South Florida there. And Jimmy Leland said, you're going to do it or get the heck out of here, man. We don't need you.
Yeah, you need more. You need more managers like that.
Yeah, you need. Well, that's what it's almost like a Marine mentality. Like, hey, I know what it took to get here, and if you don't like being here, don't shortchange it. There's
you're speaking my language because I was 2 weeks away from being a United States Marine. I couldn't qualify with the M16 32 times. I was there.
My dad was a sergeant in the Marines, and I was blessed to take his orders and understand that. But that's the problem today is. You got to take control of something, and these guys don't want to do it. If the guy in your company's taking 35 breaks in an 8-hour period and you're pulling the load, somebody's got to say something. If the boss ain't saying something, you got to say, hey, dude, man, you got to pull your load here. Yeah. And that's where Pat Riley, Jimmy Leland have done that, and props to them.
All right. With that being said, I know you got to get out of here because you're on a pitch count tonight, so appreciate the time as always. Quickly, how much are you looking forward to seeing that battle between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, which, by the way, looks like CM Punk's going to be back from injury, but this guy is complete gold when it comes to cutting promos, and what's done to McIntyre lately is just tremendous. So tremendous for the Raw brand, so tremendous for WWE, and once again, what a terrible firing. And I told you guys this, I told you and Ralph Williams at the time, what a terrible firing by AEW. Make that friggin' thing work because CM Punk, he is must-see TV. What do you say, McIntyre versus Punk?
No, I the best in the world, man. I'm telling you, he's excellent. And poor McIntyre, he's getting it from all angles. If it's not the Usos, he's getting it from, CM Punk. And this is going to get interested. And this is going to be one hell of a battle. Punk's going to come up on top. Probably break him over the head with a couple kendo sticks, and it's amazing where this is going. And this could come pretty much for SummerSlam. It's going to be in Cleveland, Ohio. First time since 1996.
Wow. Love it. As always, my friend, you got a plethora of knowledge, Mr. Mark Mancini. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
Well, this show on Wednesdays, I love it. The Pittsburgh Pirates, Mondays and Fridays. Kip Gross, the gross misconduct on Tuesdays. Former Dodger. Him and I get in it. We tear it up. And, yeah, I'm catching flack. Some guy asked me the other day about why I hate the Dodgers. What did they do to me? It's kind of like spinach. I don't like it, so I have a choice.
Well, I like spinach, so we're not going to get into that. It's one of my favorite vegetables, but we'll let Madman, we will go ahead and just let that go by the wayside. Thanks a lot.
I love you, brother. I'll see you next week. Same time, same bat channel.
Yes, sir. Schedule release next week. We'll see what your Steelers do.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. All right, buddy. There you go. Good stuff. All right, so we are done for the night. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm going to try to watch this Tom Brady roast. I heard it's 3 hours, so I'm getting ready to laugh. Thanks a lot for all the comments and all the phone calls. You guys, once again, are the lifeblood of this. All our guests tonight, the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and, of course, Amped Up Sports, professional handicapper extraordinaire of this show, Mr. Harry the Greek. And, of course, the madman himself, former XPW announcer with Turnbuckle Talk, Mark Mancini. We will see you on Monday on the Evolution. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. If something breaks, we got you covered. Whether it's the Bucs, the Rays, the Lightning, we got it all here. We call this the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Why? Is it a TV show? Yes. Is it a radio show? Yes. But it's totally different. It's a streaming sports talk show on all these platforms. You've never seen anything like it, and you're never going to see anything like it again. 3 things. You know them, you love them, you got to have them. So here it is. Get ready for it. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you on Monday night on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a great night. We got to 18-2. That's not an unreasonable thing. The only thing it does, Super Bowl Sunday ends up on a President's Day weekend, which is a 3-day weekend, which makes Sunday night, and then you have Monday off. Now, that part of it is genius. You know what the worst part about Super Bowl Sunday is? The reality that not only do you have to go to your job, whether you like it or not, but football season's over with. So he's kind of correct on that. Like, you have that day to kind of, sleep off that hangover a little bit. Realize that at that point, there is no more football. That a lot of football fans go into a deep depression because they realize the next day there is no football. At least you have that day to cushion the blow.